This is the Oklahoma Talking Company.
Welcome to Activate Your Strengths with Rhonda Boyle. StrengthsFinder 2.0 is an analytical assessment created by Gallup Corporation, and many people today are using it to change their lives, improve their relationships, and enhance their work experience. This is the podcast where we explore using your natural talents and gifts in your personal and professional development. And now, here's your host, Rhonda Boyle.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Oklahoma Talking Company. My name is Rhonda Boyle, and I'm your host this morning. We are talking about StrengthsFinder, and Jason Baffrey is here working the controls.
Good morning, Rhonda.
How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
I know, and I'm so excited about our guest today.
I know you are.
You know why? Because
why?
We have a secret announcement, or a big announcement. It's a secret, but we're going to announce something later in the show. So you want to hang with us if you're on Periscope. And hey, to all of our Periscopers, we're glad you joined us this morning. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
And since you mentioned Periscope, if somebody's listening to the show right now on the podcast, we are Periscoping live when we record.
We do.
If you go to Activate Me on Periscope, you can follow Rhonda and you can see all of her broadcasts. And on Thursday mornings, you can get the behind-the-scenes look at what goes on into producing these particular shows.
There you go. That's right. Okay, so Jason, our guest today is originally from Pennsylvania, and she was transplanted here in Oklahoma with the military 6 years ago. She's married and has 4 kids. She has a long career in retail management, and she is from Moore, Oklahoma. Welcome, Amy Fike.
Hello.
Yay! So glad you're here today.
Me too.
I know, we've been working together for how long?
Oh my gosh. A year and a half?
Probably. I think so.
Maybe
it's
a
been an
little
amazing journey.
It has been.
It has. So let me ask you, we like to start off learning what your top 5 talents are. Now, we're talking about the StrengthsFinder 2.0 assessment. That's by Gallup Corporation. They've identified that there are 34 talent themes, and we all have them. You have all of them, and I have all of them, but we live in our top 5 to 10. So tell us what your top 5 are.
Top 5, I am achiever, discipline, input, learner, and individualization.
Wow. Listen to that. So let me ask you, how do you even hear about this test?
A couple years ago, I was networking with one of the local chambers, and one of the guys had told me about the strengths and you, Rhonda, and I got really interested. So I looked it up, went to the bookstore, got the book, went home, took the assessment, and then I sat there and waited. Because I didn't know what else to do, because I didn't know how to contact you, and it all fell into place when it was supposed to happen. So about 4 or 5 months later, I took an intro 101 class.
Sure, yeah. And you got turned on to who you really are.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just want to mention quickly that here in Oklahoma City, we have a huge network of people who have taken the test. I mean, it's running into the thousands now. Just regular, everyday people, not people necessarily associated with their work, which is how many people find out about StrengthsFinder. So if you don't have a local community, you can always tune in to the GallupStrengthsCenter.com, which is where you find the test, but they have amazing reports and things that you can use to learn about yourself and develop your talents and really grow yourself into creating a life that you love. So what did you think when you got these top 5? I mean, what was your first thought? Like, was it you?
I really, even though I had the book in front of me, I still was not grasping it, because it's like, how do they all work together? So it was kind of confusing at first.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
well, and sometimes it is.
Yeah.
It takes time to develop. And this is not just another test.
Right.
A lot of people take these tests, the personality tests. I think you can get one. They come out, Jason, right, about every other day on BuzzFeed. You can find out what color you are or some other stuff, But anyway, this is different because it's a talent test and really learning more about how you go about doing life.
Right.
Really. So let's talk about your very first talent, your achiever. Now, people who are high in achiever, they must accomplish something every single day. And that's really you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me how that looks in your life.
You know, it's a lot of it, I have to have a list. I have to have a list. Either it can be written, but a lot of times it's in my head too. But I love to have that list to check off. It keeps me on track, and it makes me feel good when I finally accomplish it. And then it also helps me figure out if I really know what my priorities were for the day.
Well, one thing that you told me when we were doing our, pre-work here is that you write your list sometimes after the fact.
Yes.
So tell us why you do that.
Well, if you take one of those steno notebooks,
Yeah.
and I would write my my to-do list for the day, and then as I would go about my day or at the end of the day, I would write down what I actually did. And that way I could figure out, did they match up? Did I actually
Sure.
have my priorities straight? And things like that. And a lot of times I got more accomplished than I thought I would.
Yeah, right. And it gave you that feeling of satisfaction. I tell people all the time, if they have achiever, that if they will write it down, like people love to give you extra stuff during the day because
I know.
we know you're going to get it done.
Right.
And so, it's not on your list originally, but if you do go back and add it to your list, you get great satisfaction, like checking that puppy off, don't you?
And done.
That's right. One and done, right? Now, so let me ask you, those of us who are like not achievers, are we slackers?
I wouldn't say you guys are slackers. I'm like, we've got to get this done. If we've got this list.
Sure.
And, people who have, the squirrel syndrome.
That would be me.
It does frustrate us a little bit, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Well, it is true that we are always looking out of our own eyeballs, and sometimes we judge people based on how we view the world. Right. So I have achiever. I'll just have a confession here. My achiever is number 27. So does that mean I don't get anything done? No, it doesn't, because I get things done in the moment because of the way my talents are arranged.
Right.
But anyway, that's just kind of an interesting thing. So let me ask you this. Do you actually list and schedule your vacations? I mean, is that something you do too?
Yes, I actually have to schedule time for my husband.
Yeah.
So, because he has adaptability.
Okay.
And mine's at the very bottom, number 34.
Number 34.
So I actually schedule time for him to kind of just do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
And I have to go with the flow.
Which is not easy for you.
No.
Not at all. But by doing that, you have found a solution that works for both of you.
Yes.
And that's what we have to do in our, marriages and our relationships with our significant others. Is it's interesting how we wind up with our opposite very often, and that's exactly what's happened to you. So you schedule that flexibility day, you called it, in the vacation, and that keeps him happy.
It does.
Yeah, so you kind of laze around on the beach feeling non-productive.
Yes.
But it's okay because it's a compromise.
And then I have to have a stack full of books or notepads or something with me so I feel like I've accomplished something.
Sure. Exactly. Now, let's talk about your number 2 talent, which is actually a rare talent. It's rare. In fact, over 13 million people have taken this test, and about 5% or less actually have discipline in their top 5.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that? No.
I thought everybody had discipline. Come on.
No, we don't have discipline. In fact, it's my number 33, okay? So there's a confession right there. But you love order. Mm-hmm. And in fact, when you walk into something with chaos, what's the first thing you do?
I have to clean it.
You have to clean it up.
I have to put it in a somewhat order, because the outside discord causes my brain to not function properly.
Exactly.
It clutters up here.
That's
so
right.
I need to clean this in order for this to be clear.
That's right. You absolutely must have order, and you create order for the rest of us. And we thank you because, and you're welcome to come to my house anytime you want. So how does this discipline look at work? Because you're in retail and that's you're in retail management. And so that's a very critical, discipline is a very critical thing for your store. So tell us what that looks like.
Well, on the surface, what people see is with the discipline that things are folded, things are neat. We have to, on our wall shops, we have to sleeve length everything. And it's just, things are folded properly.
Right.
And we don't really color scheme our walls. We have visuals for what they tell us to put in there, but it's sleeve length, it's neat, it's organized. The cash wrap is neat and organized so that there's not a whole lot of clutter.
Right.
Things are put back. Like when people try on clothes and they come out, I don't have a roll bar for them to put it on. I'm like, you hand it right to me.
Right. And you take care of it right now.
Yes.
Sure.
Because why leave it to the end of the night?
Well, and this makes your recovery a lot faster,
Yes.
right? At the end of the day, they call that recovery at a retail store where everybody's cleaning up everything for the next day. And that's a lot easier at your store because you just nip and tuck and organize along the way every day as you go along. That's amazing. Your people probably appreciate that.
They do. And they've learned like the expectations.
Right.
Because they know that I actually get like this. I'm like a little kid.
You shake.
I shake because I can't take
Yeah,
the
people on the
chaos.
radio can't see you shaking.
I'm like, I shake.
Yeah, right? Because it's that important to you to keep order.
Yeah.
So those of us with discipline low, we don't see that stuff. Really, we just don't. It's not important to us. It's not. I know my husband has discipline high. Of course, I would marry my opposite. And one time I was walking in and, down a hall or in a room, and he said, "How many times are you going to step over that sock?" I was literally walking and just stepping right over it. I did not see it because I was on a mission. I was going somewhere. And you would absolutely notice anything that's out of order, and I just absolutely don't. Now, tell me at home, what happens at home with your discipline? What does that look like at home?
Oh, at home, it drives my children and my husband crazy. My closet is colorized.
Yeah, color-coded almost.
Yes. All the colors are together, and it is sleeve length. My shoes are sitting. All the colors are together, and it's high heels and, boots down to, flats. My cabinets, I group everything together. It's like, all my, soups are in one part and all the labels are facing so you can read it.
Right.
And then it's like, the canned meals for the kids, and then it's my boxes, and everything has to be facing a certain way.
Like your knives, you said.
Oh, my knives. I used to get picked on so much about this. At the end of the knives, there's usually, like, if I have Henkels, and I have to have them facing all the same direction.
You have to have the little man facing the same direction on all of your knives.
And my family would go by and just turn them just to annoy me. And I would have to go, and as soon as they did that, I'd go back and put it.
So now it's probably come into a joke, right? They do it on purpose.
Yes.
Well, so you're not OCD.
No.
No, but you thought you were, and people have told you are.
To a degree, yeah. And there is a difference between if you truly know what OCD is, to what discipline is. This is
so not
a neat freak.
Yes. Yes,
maybe you
you're
could put
just
me
a
like
little neat freak. That's right. And so you even have a label maker.
I do. I have a P-Touch label maker.
That's right.
I label everything. I was the container queen, so I have to label all my containers.
Sure. And then you have color-coded folders for all of your kids' paperwork and
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know.
Well, like I said, anytime you want to come over, feel free. Okay, so let's talk about your input. Now, and I'm going to talk about your learner also at the same time. These both are learning talents, but they work a little bit differently. So input gathers information, sorts it, and archives it most often for other people. You're holding things in a holding tank, and you have a photographic memory of exactly where it is, whatever it is that you collect or gather. And it depends on what you're interested in. So tell us what excites you, what you've collected over the years.
Let's see. I have a collection of salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah.
And that was something my grandmother started, so I kind of kept up with
Sure.
that. And then I collect lots of music, more, on the heavy metal side of things.
I never would have thought that out of you.
No,
Heavy metal?
Wait.
She's a heavy metal girl. Can you believe
More
it?
of a hairband.
Huh?
Hair bands.
I love hair bands. That's why I'm so shocked.
Everybody
you would have
is.
not struck me as
a hairband girl.
a hair metal
I don't even
girl.
know what a hairband is, but anyway.
So, do you still have a leather miniskirt in your closet? Oh,
That was the secret. That was the surprise. No,
that's not the surprise.
That's not it.
Wow. So you have those, in Dropbox, or you collect albums, or?
I collect the CDs. I still keep the cases. And then the information about the music, when it was made, what album it was off of, what year, those kinds of things.
Sure.
Rhonda,
Yes,
I
sir.
do still have all of my heavy metal CDs
Oh, my gosh.
from back in the day too. So I don't know.
You may have input there,
And I-
Jason.
And I do have some nostalgia. We collect, actual vinyl if we can.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you also collect clay houses and
Yes.
things that you picked up over time through the military in Europe. And
Yeah.
you have to have a high interest in it. You don't collect just anything.
No, it has to pique my interest. I mean, there's some people, they collect. My daughter collects buttons. I don't
You could
collect
care
them.
less about buttons.
Right. But, when I was little, I collected stickers. Everybody had that sticker album.
Sure.
So I had like thousands of stickers.
So your input, you've been inputting for years,
Yes.
right? And so you never throw anything away.
No,
Maybe
I don't.
not.
I don't.
Been hauling it around the world, girl. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So now your learner, which is the other learning talent, is totally random. Okay, so input is very narrow and specific, but learner is just wide open random. So you learn on both levels. And so, you're really good at Trivial Pursuit, aren't you?
I am.
You're
I
a
am.
Trivial
I
Pursuit master.
I wouldn't say master, but I am pretty good. I can
Okay,
usually-
watch out. We either want her on our team or we never want to be up against her, I think. That's funny. Now, you mentioned that you do a lot of your learning today because of, your generation and so forth.
Yeah.
It's from the internet.
Right.
And so you learn in short snippets rather than sitting down and learning a lot at one time.
Right. So, because today's world moves at a much faster pace. There's so much information that goes out there. I mean, you can have, one story from the news and it's breaking news, and 5 minutes later, they give you more details, and 5 minutes later, they give you more details. So
Sure.
it's just that fast pace. World that we live in, and I don't give myself a whole lot of time because I've got a lot of stuff to check off my list.
That's right.
And I keep going until I crash. So finding,
Sure.
30 minutes just to learn something, and whatever piques me on the internet and the news, the Flipboard on my phone or whatever
Sure.
comes up on Facebook, and then I read. And then I look at the bottom.
Yeah, you look at the bottom because it says what else is interesting, so
Yeah.
you can go deeper, and you always look there to find
do.
out if there's something there. Now, you also have a couple, two or three books open at any given
I do.
moment. One
Yeah.
in your purse, one in the bedroom, one in the living room, whatever, where you
Yep.
can snatch
Yep.
little moments of time for learning. And you mentioned also that you grew up reading short articles in newspapers. Your dad taught you how to do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And learning was really given a high priority in your family.
it was. It really, really was.
Yeah. So you can kind of see how, you were born with the talent, but it was also nurtured.
Yes.
So I think, for me, the way I look at these talents is that it is a combination of nurture and, nature.
Right.
So now your fifth talent is called individualization, and it's intuitive. It can't be really taught. It's something you do instinctively, and it is seeing how people automatically are going to shine.
Right.
It's just what you do. So how does that look? You mentioned something about interviewing at work, how that serves you.
Oh, yeah, because I interview people in a little different way because I really want to know them so that, and what they say really impacts on how I'm going to utilize them in the store. Because if you're going to be kind of shy, I'm not going to put you at the front of the store saying, hi,
Right.
welcome to our store.
Because you know they're not going to thrive there and grow.
Right. So, it's, and then I pair them up with people who are stronger in those suits so that they don't feel so overwhelmed.
Sure.
And, and sometimes they do come out a little bit, a little bit more energized with people, but sometimes they're just really quiet and they like to work with people one-on-one.
Sure.
They don't want the big crowds around them.
Right. And you said that you pay attention to body language and mannerisms.
Yes.
The colors that they wear. And you read people. That's exactly what individualization does. It just intuitively reads people. So you're not doing it through emotional reading or anything. You're picking up on cues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of, how they, even the flip of a hair can tell you a lot about a person.
Sure.
If they're, because sometimes if it's dramatic or if it's.
Would that be me? That'd be like dramatic. Right? But anyway, you pick up on those things.
Yes.
And then you know how they're going to be placed into the best advantage for them, their best benefit.
Right.
And yours, of course.
Yes.
Like in the store. So one thing that I've noticed throughout my career with StrengthsFinder, which is coming up on 8 years now, is that people with individualization happen to make great coaches. Don't
Really?
they? Yes, they do. They do. And so that comes to our special announcement. No, you're not having a baby.
Sorry.
I had somebody guess that. No, that's not happening.
I'm not really sorry. Thank you, Lord, sweet baby Jesus.
No, but you have made a new career decision.
I have.
Tell us about that.
Just a couple weeks ago, I have signed up for the Strength Strategy Coaching certification.
Right. That's right. So our friends at Strength Strategy, they do a great job of coaching training. And so you enter that program in March. And so now you're going to be a StrengthsFinder coach.
I am.
I know.
I'm so excited.
I am excited too. And so we're going to be working a lot more closely together. We've worked together as client and, until now. And pretty quickly, it's going to be really as peers.
Yes.
And I can't wait. I think and I've been telling you, have I been telling you since the beginning?
From day one.
Yes, from day one when I met you.
Seriously, since day one.
I'm like, you need to think about coaching. And that's because of that individualization. Because I recognize that people with individualization have that ability intuitively to help guide people into a positive place. And so I just knew, based on your talent, that it was probably going to be a good fit for you.
And that's what I tell people every day. I was like, my job as a manager is to train and develop you with this company or any other company or wherever you're going to go in life. So whatever I teach you, you're going to go out there and use it.
Right.
And of course, we want to retain all the people that we can.
Sure.
But, sometimes they move on. I have a lot of college kids. So
yeah, I bet.
Working for me. So I make sure
what
that
a great advantage they have having you as their manager and to be able to guide them and see where they need to go. So tell me what excites you about being a coach.
The guidance. I mean, I really do. I really like helping people just kind of see the path in a different way.
Right.
And it's all on them. I mean, I could talk until I'm blue in the face and it sounds like I'm nagging or nails on a chalkboard or however they want to see it. But it's kind of just giving them the guidance and for them to figure it out themselves.
Right. And asking the right questions that will help them figure it out, as you say, to make their own decisions. Because that's that self-awareness. Yeah. Instead of telling, you're asking, which is what makes a great coach. Well, I'm excited. I know you are going to make a fantastic coach. So I'm excited for you to get that training under your belt. So let me ask you this. What advice would you give someone who is just starting out in this StrengthsFinder, this understanding?
No matter where you are in the country, in the world, find a meetup, learn about it through that way, find a strengths coach, and, go to their workshops and understand, because learning my top 5, even though I understood them after I took the basics
Sure.
and the intro, I was like, there's still something more.
Right.
So,
that's the learner in you wanting to pick up more.
But I was like, there's still something more to me. So learning more about my top 10 is where I really live. And that's finding out who I really was and how my brain ticks.
Sure. Now, you mentioned your top 10. The way to get that is to open up all 34.
Right.
And then it revealed to you that your bottom one was adaptability.
Yes.
And really, when you came into this work, you had a different job than you do right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
And finding that out
Yes.
helped you recognize that job wasn't going to work anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So what other value do you see in having all 34?
I'm able to understand others a little bit better, because now I know I can read people and what their strengths could possibly be.
Right.
I mean, there's not 100% way to know unless they take it.
Right.
But it helps me view them in a different way.
Sure.
Even
'Cause
more
you have
so.
a more complete picture.
Right. And then I can partner up with people, because, in retail, you don't want to hire all of me.
Yeah.
I think
right.
we would drive each other insane, especially if we all
Probably.
had discipline.
Yes. Well, chances of that happening are pretty slim since so few people have it, right?
So, but it's partnering up with people, and I not much of a nurturer, but I realized in my life that I need somebody who can give me that love and support.
Right.
So,
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
Nurturers do that. So, and you need that because you don't have those talents, huh?
Right.
So you have had your husband tested.
yes.
And you've recently had one of your children or two?
Both of my oldest children have taken it.
Okay. So what did that reveal?
I was kind of shocked, because my oldest daughter has responsibility, number 5.
Yes.
And I was kind of like,
Yeah. Where is it?
where is it? But
Well, she is a teenager.
yeah, she's 21.
Oh, okay.
In college. But, as I was told, that she'll get it done. It's just not on your achiever list.
Right. Well, here's the thing too, though.
Yeah.
Responsibility, people who are high in
Yeah.
responsibility, they take psychological ownership of things. But guess what? They don't take psychological ownership necessarily of everything. So probably around the house, because you were doing such a great job achieving and keeping order and everything else,
Yeah.
she's like, well, not so much here.
Right.
Because who would she have to wrestle control from?
Mama.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
No. So, but I did learn that she does have her number 1 and her number 2 are input and learner.
Oh, so the apple doesn't fall far from the
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah. So,
But does she collect different things than you, obviously?
oh yeah, she collects a lot of different things. She's into anime.
Yeah. Okay.
So she has a lot of info in that. She's very into animals and
Sure.
things. So she has a lot of completely different information, and she's a biochem major.
Oh, my.
I have no desire in science whatsoever.
Exactly. So now how about your son?
My son and my oldest daughter, they both have harmony,
Okay.
which harmony is way down there on
Yeah, for me too.
for me. So so they're my little peacemakers in the house, and but they both have something that's in my top 10, which is context. So we
Okay.
all 3 have context pretty high.
So we can see that the talents really, there is some basis for having it being nature, because they are born from you. And then, of course, they saw you interested in history and interested in learning and interested in gathering and, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so they do it naturally too now.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, makes sense.
So, I have a nurturer and a learner. So in my family. So
how fun. But you understand them, you get them.
Now I get them.
Sure, before you didn't.
I didn't know. And I couldn't understand, my son until he took it. I waited until he was 18 and really finding out what he has helped us a lot to communicate. So, I recommend that if you have older kids, have them take it.
Absolutely. And Gallup says that I believe they have it in their FAQ documents, and you might want to check that out at the website at thegallupstrengthcenter.com. They say that as long as a child has self-awareness and can read at an 8th grade level, then it's totally appropriate to give them that test. So we're thinking that's probably around 14 or 15 at the earliest. And I like to tell people, if they take it at that young an age, even though Gallup says you don't need to take it again, they may see some shifting. I have my oldest daughter actually took the test when she was 17 and then took it again 5 years later. And she did have some shifts. And I think that comes from that personal awareness and not really knowing exactly who she is.
Right.
Or who she was the first time she took the test. So you do have to have, some of that. So anyway, I do encourage people to have their teens take the test too, because it just makes it more peaceful. You know why your kid's doing whatever it is that they're doing that's making you crazy.
They may find out, like, why can't you sit still in the house? Why do you always have to have friends over? Because they have woo.
That's right. That would be me. Exactly. Well, Amy, I am so glad that you joined us today, and so glad that we could use the show here to announce the exciting news about you becoming a strengths coach, and super pumped about that. And so how can we reach you if anybody wants to reach out? Where do they find you? On maybe Facebook?
I am on Facebook. Let's see, it's Fike_Amy. You can email me at fike.amy@gmail.com.
Awesome. So if anybody's looking for a coach,
absolutely,
you'll be about ready to do it. Yeah. And we do Skype coach. That's really popular these days. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Periscopers, for joining us. We're glad to have you with us in the studio. And Jason, we're off and running. All right. So thanks for joining us, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Go and live in your strengths. Bye-bye.
Activate Your Strengths with Rhonda Boyle is a presentation of Oklahoma Talking Company. Learn more and listen to other great programs at oklahomatalking.co. This has been a production of Destiny Creative.